All right. Let me see here. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna do a save on my file. I've also got to make sure everything posted here. And I've got to take down my oh, I've got to save my file. All right, there's that. And let's make sure. Alrighty, here we go. Right now, Kitty Cam is Booty Cam. She might give us more. Maybe. She's being a little stingy, but it's okay. Make sure I left my clip over here. I believe that I'm gonna leave it like this. I might have some small dialogue on this. And I think the last frame, I'll put her here. I'm gonna go ahead and group that set, I think. Oops. She's giving us a little bit more now. Hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, she is a cutie. She's given a little bit more than her hind end now, so that's good. Let's see what our pep talk in every drop says today. You got it in you. Take charge and mean it. I think I can read the, even though it's cut off, I've seen this one before. You survive tougher. March forward. Turn yeah, I like this one. Turn can do into can did. Dust off and get up. That was a peppy one. Indeed, a pep talk in every drop. I know I did something similar to this last year at this time, but I'm gonna do it again anyway, because why not, you know? I was looking at Granny Bear, Pudge, yeah. There's a Momo comic, Floof comic, Granny Bear, Floof, Pudge, Momo, Floof, Pudge, Granny Bear, Coco Momo, Floof, 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 Meowzilla. I need to do another Meowzilla, Floof, yeah. Happy paper. So yeah, I feel like sometimes I fall into a rut on content and writing, so I want to make sure that I have a good, in case you're reading these sequentially or you're seeing them on the website, I don't want to have it be like Pudge, or floof, 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 floof. And I know I've fallen into that rut before, and so I just want to make sure I'm varying up my characters a little bit, and I don't know what's happened here. I am, in fact, a little worried. Okay. Fix that up. When I do my wrist stretches, I can really feel it like popcorn here. It's like, not like breaking pasta, but like, how to describe it? Sometimes it's just, I gotta remember to do it. And it kind of doesn't hurt, it's just, I know it would help if I actually had a habit of this. make this. I saw today that they are, what do you call it? I guess retiring Adobe Rush would be the proper term, but and that's the thing I use to make my, well, I've only done I think 2 shorts, but that's what I would use to make my long form videos, and that's actually what I used to make, is it what I used to make my I think it is what I used to make my booth reel. So they're going to force everybody into Premiere Pro, which really kind of is just making me look at CapCut desktop and InShot. I know InShot doesn't have a desktop option right now, but I'm just really kind of looking. And also, they're starting, I've seen, I believe it was when I launched Photoshop last, I got the pop-up that your Photoshop version is out of date, blah, blah, blah. We really recommend you update to the latest, and I believe I got it for Illustrator too. And the reason I have been so mulish on updating these is because I don't want the AI features, and I really wish when they announced the split, well, I don't know if it's a split. I had assumed it was a split and a name change, implying that Creative Cloud is going to be now Creative Cloud Pro, meaning that there could possibly be, at least I interpret it to be this way, that there would be a base level that's still Creative Cloud. And I was like, ooh, so it looks like the Pro is just, you know, all in on these AI features. And I was like, well, is the regular version without it? I mean, basically saying, here, you can have these programs, but no AI. And I thought that would be like a miracle. And I'd be like, yes, please, downgrade me to that. I'll pay for that. I'll pay for the non-AI. And didn't turn out to be that way. It's just Adobe's doing Adobe again. To ask my friend what she's doing, because I know that she does a lot of sticker work, and I know she works in vectors, at least some part of it, because she has to do the cut lines and stuff to use her plotters. I want to see what she has migrated to as far as a vector solution. I don't know if and that's the thing, I don't know if I could ever get rid of Adobe Illustrator, because I have, I mean, very literally over 10 years, 20 years actually, if you count all the older stuff, of files and stuff that's Illustrator. So I just don't know if I could get rid of it. And I don't know if, I've also read some discussion on this tool, this blob brush, and not having quite the same thing in whatever the Affinity version is. So, I mean, but that's just to say, I mean, you're question just follows, though. I mean, if Adobe would go away tomorrow and Illustrator would go away tomorrow, my work won't go away. I'll just find another way to do it. No, and not be as easy as before. But I don't know, just some food for thought. If anybody lurking or is a designer or an artist has any thoughts, please put them in chat. I know Adobe has done some, I'm speaking as a former freelancer who actually did freelance work for them as a streamer for 2.5 to 3 years. It's during the pandemic when they did that push on Behance. And so I was a contract streamer for them to help build that platform. And I've also, when they were back on Twitch, I served as a mod for a lot of my friends who were hired on as freelance contractors to kind of build the Adobe Twitch. And so I've got kind of a long history with them. Now, the more I think about it, the more I wish that they had offered that, because I think that could have been a way, well, I don't know. I think the bridge is largely burned with a lot of artists with Adobe. Unless you have to have it, and I know a lot of people, or actually I've watched videos, testimony, thoughts from a lot of people that, would be like, if I didn't have to use it, I would be gone from the entire Adobe suite, which is really kind of sad because this is a kind of a piece of digital art history that's making itself obsolete. By courting an audience that would say that they're disloyal, but I feel in a little way that it's similar to how cell phone companies treat their customers. They work overtime to get a new customer, and they treat you like you're the king. And then when you become a permanent customer, and that's also cable companies too, and this is probably restricted only to America, but I don't know, poor treatment is universal, but it just seems that, yeah, you're trash after you're a permanent customer, and that mindset has always just kind of baffled me, because it takes so much to get a new customer. And, but if you build up, what you have, the people that you already have that already believe in you, then you've got that loyalty. And that's how, like, these brands, Snoopy, Garfield, that loyalty was built up over years. And so, 10, 20 years down the road, adults who used to read these comics as kids are buying Snoopy shirts, are introducing it to their kids, and it's moving forward that way. But they just are like, I really feel that's what Adobe has done. They've kind of just sacrificed the audience that built them, all the artists over the years. With this push to AI and all of the other things that they're doing, I mean, I know that, you know, AI is, I think, eventually once things settle down and they get the legal ease figured out, I think for most people it will be a tool that helps accelerate skills and functionalities that would otherwise take a little bit longer to do and you don't have in place or what have you. I think it'll function as an accelerator, kind of like how digital art did, because I mean, there was a point in time where, you know, digital art was the new belle of the ball, and there is that whole argument, well, it's digital art, it's not really art because you have the undo button. And, you know, it's not, you know, it's not as, well, and I agree to that to some point, that you know, a traditional piece of art is one. It is the only thing, and it can't compare to print, therefore it doesn't have that same value. So there's that you know, that little angle in there. But I do remember, because I was in high school when Photoshop really started coming to the forefront, and I remember the arguments in photography class, because there were a couple of the kids in my class that were wanting to use Photoshop to process their prints and, you know, do all of, basically, you know, do sepia tone or whatever without doing sepia tone, without actually getting your fingers dirty. And I just remember even then I felt like it was a moment that, you know, this is a moment where technology is moving in and things are changing. Even as, you know, the majority of the class is sitting there developing film, doing all of this, there are some that are coming in with these digital cameras that are trying to figure out how to move forward this new technology. And can they actually enter a digital photograph to this photography contest? That was another question. And I remember my photography teacher, Miss Laskowski, you know, she was addressing that, and I think the short of it was that she said it was acceptable, but there were certain things that that they still had to do. Like they could use digital photography in the class, but they still had to do, you know, it was like a side dish. You still have to do the regular way. You can do this, but I want you to learn how to actually develop the film, you know, develop the negatives, run the systems and all of that as well. I believe that's what it ended up being. So the kid couldn't just YOLO the whole class and just do it all digital. I don't know how photography class would be done today. Gosh, that was so much. That was part of the. I still remember the smell of those chemicals. But there's just something about, you know, you shoot this roll of film and you don't really know what it's going to be until you develop that film, stand in the dark, are rolling it into the canister, and you do your contact sheet. That just, then you see things. It's not like just, okay, let's swipe through the thing on my phone. Hey, Ariana, hello. How are you today? I'm just babbling into the void. Feel free to join me in my void babble. I was just thinking a little bit on, because I got an email this morning that Adobe is discontinuing or retiring Adobe Rush, which is the program I use to put together any like long form video, including my booth reel that I did, because I I don't want to use like a sledgehammer to, you know, pound a small tiny little nail, which is I feel like what happens when I open Adobe Premiere Pro. And so Adobe Rush was simplified. It just had what I needed to throw things together, and I was done. And then that reminded me of the other email about the Adobe Creative Cloud going to Pro, and that gave me a moment of hope that, hey, could I opt for a lower paying plan that doesn't include all of this AI bull that I won't use? No, of course not. I just want to take a photography class where you actually develop. It's so much fun. You know, if you have the chance, I would seize it, because especially nowadays, because that technology, and it was expensive when I was in high school, but now that, you know, that is just, you can, I mean, it's probably hard to find actually traditionally developed, you know, that type of traditional film, let alone the chemicals and the setup to do it. But yeah, there was, and this was, I don't know how it happened, because, you know, thinking back on it, I'm like, damn, did she have like some dirt on the principal or something? Because the photography teacher, she had this just mapped out lab, and it was incredible. So you have like the regular classroom, and then in the back of it we had the revolving door that was light fast, and so you go into the revolving light fast door to get into the dark room. And I believe there were at least nine heads to develop photos on. And then there was, in the middle of it, the giant, it was a table, but it was a giant like wash bin table. So we had the developer bins on that, and it always had flowing water going around it. So it was kind of a trough, but it was always fed with water. And then all we had to do when we had to change the like the stop bath and developer and stuff, we just dump it out. And I think that's how it was. Yeah, probably not as environmentally safe, but I don't know. At any rate, always had water flowing in there. And then they had so you developed your prints there. There was a separate room that was like ultra dark, where you could go in and actually unroll your film and roll it into the canisters for development. And then there's that separately. And then there was there were these, it looked like giant washing machines that were also light fast, that you dumped your prints in after you were done developing them. Then you could go outside, open up the thing on the other side and fish your prints out. And it just was such a setup. I mean, that's like a dream setup for any photographer. But yeah, take advantage of that if you can. If you can find someone doing it, because it really was fun. And it just, I don't know, something, I get so angry at my classmates too, because some of them are so wasteful. They would just, because like the process of developing a print, you have to put it in the developer and then the stop bath, and then I think there's another rinse. But you would, proper etiquette was to shake off your print when going from developer to stop bath, because the developer will quickly make the stop bath go bad and stinky if you don't. And so, you know, if you just pick it up and dump it, all those chemicals coming in will just make the stop bath go bad all the quicker. So a lot of them didn't care, and they would just totally trash the stop bath as soon as you know they started working. So, but yeah, I got irritated with them a lot on that. But that chemical smell is something that kind of burns into your memory. Catherine, hello, welcome to the stream. Oops, wrong way. Those are bugging me again. I can see my screen here, but refocusing on chat is a little bit of a ghost. But yeah, that got me talking about Adobe and some of the changes they've made over the years, and kind of wondering if I could even switch, even if I wanted. I mean, if I had to, of course I would have to, but when I would adjust. But I think you can still get film developed at Walgreens and CVS maybe, but it has to be sent away. They don't actually have a photo development center anymore. And I'm trying to, because like the last time I remember using Costco, I used Costco and Sam's Club, their photo development, and I don't think there's even a bin anymore to drop your film in there. And I don't think I've seen it for years. And they even stopped selling my favorite photo paper, which really pissed me off because it was so good. It was so good. It was the best photo paper. I'm holding on to my last box of 8.5 by 11, with both hands and teeth, and I refuse to waste pages, so I'm using crap paper to test the printer before I use the good stuff. That being said, I have found a good replacement for the 4x6s. I ran out of everything, so I'm using the Canon, a really good Canon paper actually. I don't have any complaints about it. It's good. I just wish it didn't have the logo on the back, but whatever. I tested out this other stuff that was just like tissue paper, and I should have known because, the price was just too good to be true. And I get the box of it, and like, okay, well, I can use this for something, I guess, but it was weird. The tissue paper isn't even a good description. It was like, the prints were a little bit dulled, even though it was supposed to be glossy or even satin, but it was still dull, and it was just weird. But printer paper woes. Let's just give a hard edge there. I saw another interesting discussion too. So, and I didn't know what was happening, but apparently there was a big kerfluffle at DragonCon, and this dude was ejected for selling AI art and as prints, and you know that as these companies like Disney and I mean I guess Warner Brothers is having their issues, but these IP holders, you know, are starting to use AI more and wanting to control their IPs more. The question has been raised, well, what is this going to do to the con Artist Alley? Because a majority of Artist Alley is not IP and original characters, it's fan art. And the only reason that they're able to do what they do is because the IP holders don't care, and it's not worth it to them to go after. And it doesn't, you know, some of it is really, really close to, you know, the official artwork. Other is, I think, would fall under parody. That nice little gray umbrella. But I don't know. I mean, I've never really felt comfortable doing fan art, which is why everything that I did that was kind of, you know, in that like Tuxie Thor and that stuff, and even like the LOTR, it's clearly parody. It's a toilet paper dressed up with a wizard hat, like trying to be Gandalf. It's clearly parody. It's not me trying to draw something Lord of the Rings. And I just always made me nervous. Even that the closest one I did, and that's why I stopped selling it and printing it, was the Momo and the Totoro one. I love that one. It always sells, but I'm just like, that no, it's too close. It's not worth it. I'm gonna build my own Totoro. Right. Floofs, get on it. I'm spending way too much time on this one frame. I need to make a move to the next frame. Let me just finish this little bit. Let's add a couple other little bits because there's stuff. There's always stuff. Let's say I want to do the wings. Just a couple white pieces here. Alright, yay. Right now it's done. Next frame. How long did it take me to draw that? 53 minutes? My Philosopher's Substack is updated. I always wonder about that one because I thought it was weekly, but I think it's whenever this dude feels like, you know, he has a good stable of quotes. because then all of a sudden it will like rain philosophy points. I'm not complaining, but some weeks I really need a philosophy quote and don't get any. Alright, so to back up, I know I've done one of these similar before. I think it was actually last year with Granny Bear, but I really like the idea and I'm going to do it again because I can. So I'm going to do just little glimpses of Granny Bear kind of at the edge of autumn. So they're collecting the last of the summer berries here. The trees are starting to turn, so I'm going to have some fun colors in this. And then just this relaxing moment by the stream. I don't know if I'll add a little text here. I think I am leaning towards keeping it quiet. We shall see. And I also need to say, we've scratched that belly. Look at the toe. There have been a couple times where she got stuck like that with her toes out, just stuck. It's almost like she locked her knee or her hip or something. I think one time I was able to get a picture of it. And I didn't think to do video at the time because that would have shown her actually being stuck in that position. But I don't like the shape of this. There we go. That's a little better. Still kind of crooked, but I need to smooth it out. There we go. Ears. Sometimes I can nail Granny Bear's ears and other times they just give me the biggest headache. Dee, hello, welcome to the stream. Good to see you today. There we go. I usually have my mic audio up so I can make sure I'm not, what are they, like blowing it out, I guess, when it's when it peaks and goes into the red. Always try to keep it so the audio is audible, but not screeching. Legend is available for free on YouTube Movies, and I started watching it last night, or the other night. No, it wasn't last night. Last night I kind of ditched Legend because I wasn't in the mood for fairies and glitter. and went to Edge of Tomorrow, which is probably why I'm calling this Edge of Autumn, come to think of it. But I kind of forgot how just juicy is not the right word, but just over the top Tim Curry is in Legend, and just everything about that movie. And that quality of 80s fantasy films that just have this almost cloud of glitter around them everywhere. It's just on everything, and it just has this certain look. You can definitely see it in Legend. You can totally see it in Labyrinth, and several others. It just has this, I don't know if veneer is the right word, but it's just, I was like, wow. And I was also profoundly irritated, I've never been this way before, about how Lily just ignored Jack's warnings. I was pissed with Jack. Instead of, identifying with Lily and, oh, I just want to touch the unicorn, I was pissed with Jack. If only Lily had listened. This entire movie, this entire problem would not have happened. You've never seen Labyrinth Legend before. It's a fantasy movie, and the premise is, I guess Tim Curry's character is, I don't feel like he's the devil though. I feel like he might be a couple of notches. I mean, I don't know. He's kind of like a Lord of Darkness type character, and he senses that, and the premise is that, light cannot exist without dark, but he senses that the unicorns, which represent light and goodness, have returned, and he wants them taken out. And so Jack, played by Tom Cruise, and Lily, played by Mia Sara, are the two main characters, and they represent the innocence that lures in the unicorns. So they get, one of them gets killed, and then they have to save the other one and then bring the other one back to life. It's just it's an epic fantasy, but it's just no, it's different watching it as a kid versus watching it as an adult, because having seen it before and having different, I wouldn't say interests, but different awarenesses now, I can examine the script and the actions and everything and just see a lot more of, maybe it's just what happens when you rewatch something so many times. You start noticing things. You start noticing foreshadowing and all of these different things. But I don't know. It was interesting how certain things are set up and why, because it delivers later. And like in the very first scene, you see all of these, well, not the very, well, is it the very first scene? pretty close to the very first scene where you're introduced to Tim Curry's character. You see this fireplace and you see all of these gigantic plates above it. Well, later in the movie, those plates come into play. Very, very key things. But that just goes to show the rule. You know, the kind of screenwriting rule is if you're going to use something in Act 3, you better introduce it in Act 1. So it works. So you can see that in Tremors. The ending of the movie is told to you in the very first scene. Stampede, Earl. And they're right there. But that comes back. You don't really think about it because it's just a conversation. But fast forward to the end of the movie where all of this stuff has happened and you understand why the character has the epiphany they do and is able to save the day. Because this happened already. And that's how you can suspend your disbelief. Anyway. Happy Thursday, Sharon. Hello, Sharon. Welcome to the stream. Haven't seen that movie before. Oh, it's good. It's good. You have to be, I would say, be in the same mood for a movie that you would be if you wanted to like watch Dark Crystal or Labyrinth, because it's very similar. There's a lot of 80s glitter cheese, but that's good stuff. It's good stuff. But if you don't like 80s glitter cheese, I understand. I understand. My heart breaks though. All right. I have not grouped anything. And how long have I been drawing Granny Bear? All right. We're picking berries, the last of the summer berries. I wonder how much of the 80s movie budget went to glitter and glitter cleanup. I think that is a very real question. At least 70%. Truth. I think you're right on there. I think it was a considerable amount of the budget. It competed with marketing. Who needs a trailer? We have to buy glitter. Glitter. Yes. glad you like it, Dee. Got a couple more of these frames to do. I think I'm going to have Boop right here. Just, she's got a little berry she's holding on to as well. Rise a little bit. I'm a little, that's a little too much, but yeah, that's a little too much. That's a little weird. Let's make it less weird. Here we go. Sorry, Boop. I need to group her so she sits on top of her head. Good. She's about the right size. There's that one. Good. And now I can come out here and bring this over. And now I can make this. Hey. These are the two frames I'm looking forward to most, just the view from the top of the hill. I've done this scene before in a winter frame, and that's still one of my favorite Granny Bear comics, is when they're walking in the kind of the silence of winter, and she looks out and says that something along the lines of maybe Mother Nature likes a blank canvas too, or something like that. And that one is still one of my favorites. I should probably draw the rest of this landscape before I tackle I love Coco's pose. She looks so comfortable. She is very comfortable. You can't see it, but she, if she is on her heating pad for an extended period of time, she starts blepping and puts her tongue out, and it's the cutest. Because sometimes she wakes up and she doesn't pull it back in though, so she's sitting there kind of drowsy, looking around like that, and then she'll finally pull it back in when she does her yawn and stretch. She does need a blep reset button. Sometimes the blep is too strong. Guys, hey, I'm still pretty far away from the usual that I do. So. I want to put like little somethings here, almost like not a weed, but maybe a little baby bush. I don't know. There was my lemon tree threw out a new shoot. It was really weird. Like probably about 5 feet away from its trunk, it threw out a new. I mean, if I had let it go, it could have I think, probably developed quite thoroughly. I didn't realize what it was. I thought it was a weed for a while, but then I was like, no, those leaves look awfully similar to these right here, these little suckers on the trunk. Exactly. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. It makes you, it kind of, I've read about it before, but like these giant old trees, like I think there's one of the oldest ones is a yew tree in England or Scotland somewhere, and it looks like it's one tree, but it's actually split several different ways. I don't know if that happened just over the years, it just kind of came apart, or if that was the same type of deal where it would, from the root system, put up another shoot a little bit further away from the main trunk. That one I think is just like a really old tree, so I don't know how that one developed, but it made me think of that one at any rate. Wondering if it was something similar. I'm gonna go ahead and group GB here. Make things a little easier. Out a little bit maybe, or I just need to tip her ear because she is looking up. So no, this ear looks weird. I'm not gonna erase it, I'm just gonna make it 30% and see if I can't do better. He's looking that way, so maybe I should bring a little of the ear around. Maybe that's what's bugging me. Maybe. Granny Bear has long legs. I need to give her shorter legs. She's not that tall. Be like, oh, my heart, so pretty. Just the leg that's kind of... This angle, it's even more. You can just see how relaxed she is. So big. All right, let's get back out here. And I'm going to have, I think her eyes need to be a tiny. That's better. And then let's do boop. And then this one will be done. know the expression I want, but I can't quite get it. Other little wings are laid back. I feel like this is not big enough. Actually, maybe I was doing better than I thought I was. Oh, I'm happy to hear that, Dee. The thought of her wings just being lightly open and kind of floating on the air, I really like that. There we go. All right, backing out. I think we're good on this one. I'll be adding some atmospheric stuff, like more leaves, but I'm going to focus really on primarily here on the changing colors. So I'm gonna have, oh, big stretch. She's given all the stretches today. I'm focusing mostly on that and having kind of mixes of, because I feel like there's a certain gradient from yellow to green that gets kind of muddy, and I'm gonna be playing in those colors, but I want to, maybe I'll just do a couple of different bunches of different, colors. I don't know. I'll mix it in there somehow. But that's this one. And let's get this mapped out real quick. What? Really? Really? Can you see her chattering? Here we go. Oh. Oh. He says enough. I'm done. I need to save. Alright. Now this one is going to be I already know that. Actually. If that face shape works. Maybe it'll work. Maybe. Gotta run off to lunch, so glad I caught you. Oh, take care, Ariana. Good to see you again. Have a wonderful lunch and rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. this is going to be the challenging part, is kind of folding her legs. Maybe I will just legs like this. I could be like that, but I kind of think Granny Bear would just kind of put them off to the side. Right there. So in some ways I could probably I can fudge this a little bit because she has her paw kind of on her leg, so I don't need to show that. I can get away with not showing it. This is the old hide the hands in the pockets trick. Problem is this leg right here. I'm probably going to have to think about this leg situation. Let's go ahead and draw the rest in here. We could have her arm around the floof, and in that case, floof would be right here. I'm just doing all of the leg action today. Be up there, because there's no room for her down there. I might do a little bit of grass here. I've got to think about this. I've got to let that rest and maybe look at some reference to help. Not much to boop in that frame. She's just chilling. There's some green leaves. Some that are not so green. Just kind of floating down. I think maybe on the water as well. And we'll have some motion. Alright, I think that'll be it for me today. I'm gonna go ahead and save there. I've got to let this last frame rest a little bit because I want to figure out and get those legs right. I don't feel like they're quite right. And the last time I did this pose, I know I had trouble with this as well, so maybe I'll go look back at that when it was actually the repost I did for today with the high dive where Granny Bear is sitting and she notices Coco is stuck on the diving board. I think that's the last time I drew her legs in this position, so I might have to examine what I did there, because I thought that looked okay, but again, it was like farther back and a different angle, so we'll see. I'll figure it out. But yeah, thank you so much, Sharon D. Ariana, I know you've gone to lunch, but thank you again for joining. Catherine, if you're still in here, any of my lurkers, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. If you want to see how this ends up with the color and finished everything, be sure to check out any of my social media. I post new comics on Tuesdays and Fridays, and X, Instagram, Facebook, and my website all get updated. If you want to see it a little earlier, the website goes live like around 2 in the morning, I think. So let me switch over to my ending screen. Thank you so much for joining me again. Always love having your company and chat. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.